How to make the best tortilla nacho chips and salsa. Welcome to Smart Health Tips. Food is more than mere sustenance. It is a tapestry woven with threads of memory, culture, and emotion. Each dish tells a story, a narrative that transcends borders and generations. Among the myriad culinary creations that grace our tables, few hold as much significance as tortilla chips and salsa. This beloved duo, often enjoyed as a casual snack or a festive appetizer, carries with it a rich history and a deep connection to the land and the people who have cultivated it. For me, the journey of creating tortilla chips and salsa is not just about the flavors. It is a heartfelt homage to my heritage, a celebration of community, and a manifestation of love. My relationship with tortilla chips and salsa began in my childhood kitchen, where the aroma of roasted tomatoes mingled with the earthy scent of corn. My grandmother, a master of traditional Mexican cuisine, would often gather us around the stove, her hands deftly preparing the ingredients as she recounted tales of her youth in a small village. The stories flowed as freely as the ingredients she used, each one infused with the warmth of her laughter and the wisdom of her years. It was in those moments that I learned the importance of food as a vessel for connection, a means of bringing people together around the table. Traveling through Mexico, I was captivated by the diverse landscapes and vibrant cultures that shaped the culinary traditions of each region. From the bustling markets of Oaxaca, where the air was thick with the scent of fresh masa and spices, to the sun-drenched streets of Guadalajara, where vendors sold their wares from colorful carts, I was immersed in a world where food was celebrated and revered. Each encounter deepened my appreciation for the foundational ingredient of my beloved dish, corn. Corn, or maize, is more than just a staple. It is a sacred crop with a history that stretches back thousands of years. It is the lifeblood of many indigenous cultures, revered not only for its nutritional value, but also for its spiritual significance. The process of nixtamalization, a traditional method of treating corn with an alkaline solution, was a revelation for me. This ancient technique transforms the kernels into masa harina, a fine flour that serves as the basis for tortillas. The chemical reaction that occurs during nixtamalization enhances the nutritional profile of corn, unlocking essential amino acids and making it more digestible. It is a process steeped in tradition, a testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors who understood the importance of food beyond mere survival. As I embarked on my own journey of creating tortilla chips and salsa, I approached the task with a sense of reverence. The kitchen became my sanctuary, a place where I could connect with my roots and honor the legacy of those who came before me. I began by sourcing the finest masa harina, its texture akin to soft powder, hinting at the promise of what was to come. With each handful, I felt a connection to the land, to the farmers who nurtured the corn from seed to harvest. The crafting of tortilla dough is an art form that requires patience and precision. I poured the masa harina into a large mixing bowl, creating a small well in the center. As I added warm water, I felt the transformation begin. The dry flour absorbed the moisture, and I could see the dough starting to take shape. Kneading it with my hands, I marveled at how the texture shifted from crumbly to smooth and pliable. This tactile experience was a reminder of the sacredness of cooking, of the love that goes into each ingredient and the care that shapes it into something beautiful. As I rolled the dough into small balls, I recalled my grandmother's hands, her fingers expertly shaping the tortillas with a simple press of her palms. I placed a ball between two sheets of parchment paper and pressed down gently, watching as it flattened into a perfect circle. The thrill of creating something so fundamental yet so exquisite filled me with joy. Each tortilla, a blank canvas, held the potential for flavor and connection. The next step in this culinary journey was frying the tortillas to create the crispy golden chips that would serve as the vessel for my salsa. The oil bubbled and shimmered in the pan, inviting me to plunge the tortillas into its depths. As they fried, the kitchen filled with the intoxicating scent of corn, a warm embrace that enveloped me in nostalgia. I watched as they transformed, their edges curling and crisping to perfection. The sound of sizzling filled the air, a rhythmic symphony that echoed the heartbeat of the kitchen. While the chips cooled, I turned my attention to the salsa, a vibrant expression of flavor and culture. Salsa is not merely a condiment. It is a celebration of freshness, a balance of heat and acidity that enlivens the palate. I gathered ripe tomatoes, their skins glistening in the sunlight, and fresh cilantro, its fragrant leaves promising a burst of brightness. The addition of jalapenos, onions, and lime juice would create a symphony of flavors that danced together in perfect harmony. Chopping the ingredients was a ritual in itself. The knife glided through the tomatoes, releasing their juices, while the cilantro's aroma filled the air, invigorating my senses. I could hear the rhythmic thud of the knife against the cutting board, a steady beat that mirrored the excitement building within me. Each ingredient was a note in the melody of the salsa, and as I combined them in a bowl, I felt a sense of accomplishment wash over me. This was not just food. This was a connection to my heritage, a tribute to the vibrant cultures that had shaped my culinary journey. As I mixed the ingredients, I tasted the salsa, adjusting the seasoning to achieve the perfect balance. The heat of the jalapenos mingled with the sweetness of the tomatoes, while the acidity of the lime juice added a refreshing zing. I marveled at how a simple combination of fresh ingredients could evoke such powerful emotions, transporting me back to sunlit gatherings with family and friends, where laughter and stories flowed as freely as the food. With the tortilla chips and salsa complete, I set the table, eager to share my creation with loved ones. The golden chips glistened, their crispness promising a satisfying crunch, while the vibrant salsa beckoned with its colorful hues. As I placed the bowl of salsa in the center of the table, I could already envision the joy that would unfold as we dipped our chips into the zesty mixture, sharing bites and laughter. Gathering around the table, I felt a surge of gratitude. Food has an incredible power to unite us, to bridge gaps and create connections. As we dipped our tortilla chips into the salsa, the flavors mingled on our tongues, igniting conversations and memories. Each bite was a reminder of the journey we had taken together, a celebration of the love and care that had gone into creating this beloved dish. The warmth of the kitchen lingered in the air, a comforting embrace that enveloped us as we savored each morsel. I watched as my loved ones relished the flavors, their smiles reflecting the joy that food can bring. In that moment, I understood that tortilla chips and salsa were more than just a dish. They were a celebration of life, a testament to the power of food to nourish not only our bodies, but also our souls. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the table, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The journey of creating tortilla chips and salsa had been a labor of love, a tribute to my heritage, and a reminder of the importance of sharing food with those we cherish. In the simplicity of this beloved dish, I found a deeper connection to my roots, to the land, and to the people who had shaped my culinary journey. In the end, it is the stories we share, the flavors we experience, and the connections we forge that truly define our culinary journey. Tortilla chips and salsa may seem like a simple dish, but they embody the essence of culture, tradition, and love. As I reflect on this journey, I am reminded that every meal is an opportunity to connect, to celebrate, and to create lasting memories that will be cherished for generations to come. In the soft embrace of early evening light, the kitchen felt like a sanctuary, a place where the outside world faded into a gentle hum. The sun dipped low, casting a warm glow that danced across the wooden surfaces and illuminated the chef's workspace. A wooden tray lay waiting, its surface smooth and inviting, ready to receive the fruits of a labor that was as much about passion as it was about technique. The chef, a figure of calm concentration, began the delicate process of laying out tortilla triangles, each piece a testament to the transformative journey of simple ingredients. With a reverence that bordered on ritual, the chef spoke softly to the triangles, as if they were old friends. "You're about to become something extraordinary," they murmured, fingers deftly arranging the chips with care. Each triangle was cut with precision, the edges sharp and crisp, ready to embrace the heat of the oil that would soon bring them to life. The chef reflected on the alchemy of cooking, the way raw dough could morph into something delightful, the crunch of a perfectly fried chip echoing the joy of creation. The kitchen was filled with the subtle scent of corn as the chef prepared to fry the chips. The oil bubbled in a heavy pot, its surface shimmering like liquid gold. Temperature control was crucial. Too hot, and the chips would burn. Too cool, and they would absorb too much oil, becoming greasy instead of crispy. The chef monitored the heat with an attentive eye, adjusting the flame until the oil reached that sweet spot, a moment of balance where science met art. As the first batch of tortilla triangles met the hot oil, they sank momentarily before bubbling and puffing, the transformation mesmerizing. The sound of sizzling filled the air, a symphony of crackles that spoke of impending satisfaction. The chef watched intently, noting the way the chips began to turn a golden hue, their edges crisping beautifully. Each second felt like an eternity, filled with anticipation. Lifting the chips from the oil, the chef placed them on a draining rack, the excess oil cascading away, leaving behind a surface that glistened with promise. The satisfaction of that moment was palpable. There was a joy in the creation, an understanding that each chip was more than just a snack. It was a vessel for flavor, a canvas awaiting the artist's touch. But the transformation was not complete. The next step was crucial: seasoning. The chef reached for a blend of spices, a personal touch that would elevate the chips from simple to sublime. With a gentle hand, the chef sprinkled salt over the warm chips, the crystals catching the light and glimmering like tiny stars. Then came the spices, a hint of chili powder for warmth, a dash of garlic powder for depth, and perhaps a whisper of cumin for earthiness. The chef spoke softly as they seasoned, the words flowing like the spices themselves, each syllable infused with the essence of the flavors being created. "You deserve this, my friends," they said, as the spices danced through the air, settling onto the chips, each one a promise of the crunch to come. The first bite was a revelation, a satisfying crunch that echoed in the quiet kitchen, a sound that resonated with memory and emotion. The texture was perfect, a blend of crisp and airy, each chip a reminder of the joy found in the simplest of pleasures. The chef savored that moment, understanding that texture was not just a physical quality. It was a bridge to the past, a connection to experiences that shaped them. As the chips came alive under the careful seasoning, the chef began to contemplate the salsas that would accompany them, each one a reflection of their culinary journey. There was a bright salsa verde, vibrant with the tang of tomatillos and fresh cilantro, a burst of color that mirrored the freshness of summer. Then came the smoky chipotle salsa, rich and complex, its depth of flavor providing a perfect counterpoint to the lightness of the chips. Finally, there was the sweet pineapple habanero salsa, a playful blend of sweet and spicy that danced on the tongue, each bite a celebration of contrast. Each salsa brought out different qualities in the chips, creating a delightful culinary experience that was both harmonious and exciting. The chef envisioned the way the bright green of the salsa verde would pop against the golden chips, how the deep red of the chipotle salsa would envelop them in warmth, and how the vibrant yellow of the pineapple habanero would add a splash of joy to the arrangement. As the chef prepared the salsas, memories flooded back, taking them to a time as an apprentice in Puebla. They recalled a simple plate of chips and salsa shared with friends at a bustling market stall, the laughter and chatter blending with the sizzling sounds of food being prepared. That moment had left a lasting impression, a reminder of the deeper connections food could foster. It was not just about nourishment. It was about community, friendship, and the stories that unfolded around the table. With each salsa prepared, the chef arranged the chips on the wooden tray, a careful composition that spoke of thoughtfulness and care. The salsas were nestled alongside, vibrant and inviting, each one a reflection of the flavors within. Presentation was important, but it did not need to be extravagant. The beauty lay in the simplicity, in the way the colors complemented each other, inviting those who partook to appreciate the meal and the moment shared. The kitchen, bathed in soft light, felt alive with the echoes of the past and the promise of the present. The chef stepped back, taking in the scene, the arranged chips and salsas a culmination of their efforts, a celebration of flavor and memory. In that moment, the kitchen was not just a place for cooking. It was a space where connections were forged, where stories were shared, and where the transformative power of food could be felt deeply. As the evening unfolded, the kitchen would soon be filled with laughter and conversation, the chips and salsas acting as a bridge between the past and the present. Each crunch would resonate with the joy of shared experiences, each dip into the salsas a reminder of the flavors that could evoke memories long forgotten. In that calm moment, illuminated by soft light, the chef understood that the act of cooking was more than just a task. It was a way to connect, to create, and to celebrate the beauty of life through the simple act of sharing food. 2 decades in the culinary world can feel both like a fleeting moment and an eternity, a paradox that seasoned chefs often grapple with. As I stand in my kitchen, the familiar sense of sautéed garlic and fresh herbs wafting through the air, I find myself reflecting on the journey that has shaped me into the chef I am today. It's not just about the recipes or the techniques, it's about the essence of cooking, the magic that transforms simple ingredients into unforgettable experiences. Take, for example, the humble nacho. At first glance, it may seem like a straightforward dish, a mere assembly of chips, cheese, and toppings. However, when one understands the science behind flavors, nachos can become a canvas for culinary artistry. In my early years, I often relied on recipes, measuring out ingredients meticulously, following instructions to the letter. But with time, I learned that the heart of cooking lies in understanding how flavors interact. The 5 key taste elements, salt, acid, heat, sweetness, and umami, are the building blocks of satisfaction. Each element plays a crucial role in creating a harmonious dish, and when combined thoughtfully, they elevate a simple plate of nachos into a memorable experience. Salt is the most fundamental of these elements. It enhances flavors, bringing out the best in each ingredient. When I sprinkle a pinch of flaky sea salt over freshly baked tortilla chips, it transforms them from bland to brilliant. The salt not only amplifies the flavor of the corn, but also prepares the palate for the other elements to come. It's a reminder that even the simplest addition can make all the difference. Next comes acid, the brightener of flavors. A squeeze of lime juice over the nachos can cut through the richness of melted cheese, creating a balance that enlivens the dish. Acid adds brightness and freshness, awakening the taste buds and inviting the diner to savor each bite. I often experiment with various acids, from zesty citrus to tangy vinegars, to find the perfect complement to the other ingredients. Then there's heat, which can come from spices, peppers, or even the cooking method. A drizzle of homemade jalapeno salsa can add a fiery kick that contrasts beautifully with the creamy cheese and cool guacamole. The interplay of heat and coolness creates a dynamic experience, where each bite offers a new sensation. It's essential to consider not just the heat level, but the type of heat. A smoky chipotle pepper brings depth, while a fresh serrano brings brightness. Sweetness, often overlooked in savory dishes, can also play a significant role. A touch of honey or a sprinkle of sweet corn can round out the flavors, providing a counterbalance to the salt and acid. Sweetness can evoke nostalgia, reminding diners of childhood favorites or summer barbecues, creating a connection that transcends the plate. Lastly, umami, the savory depth that lingers on the palate, is the secret weapon in any chef's arsenal. Ingredients like aged cheeses, roasted tomatoes, or even a dash of soy sauce can add that elusive savoriness that makes a dish truly satisfying. When I layer these elements thoughtfully, I create a nacho experience that resonates with diners long after the last chip is gone. But cooking is not just about flavors, it's also about presentation. The way a dish is plated can communicate care, creativity, and hospitality. I often think of 3 unique plating options for nachos, each conveying a different message. The first style is the classic platter, a generous mound of nachos served on a rustic wooden board. This approach invites sharing, encouraging guests to dig in and enjoy the experience together. The vibrant colors of the toppings, bright green avocados, fiery red salsa, and golden cheese, create an enticing visual feast. It's a celebration of community, where the act of sharing food becomes an expression of connection. The second option is a more refined presentation, where I artfully arrange individual nachos on a sleek white plate. Each chip is topped with a precise dollop of guacamole, a sprinkle of queso fresco, and a drizzle of salsa. This style elevates the dish, transforming it into a gourmet experience. It communicates attention to detail and a commitment to quality, inviting diners to savor each bite as a work of art. The third plating style is playful and interactive. I serve the nachos in a cast-iron skillet, allowing guests to customize their experience. Each person can add their preferred toppings, from pickled jalapenos to fresh cilantro, creating a sense of participation. This approach fosters a sense of adventure and encourages conversation, as guests share their flavor preferences and discover new combinations together. Complementing the nachos with the right beverage can further enhance the dining experience. A crisp, refreshing lager pairs beautifully with the richness of cheese, cutting through the heaviness and cleansing the palate. For those seeking a non-alcoholic option, a zesty agua fresca made with fresh fruit and a hint of lime can provide a delightful contrast to the savory nachos. Additionally, a side of tangy pickled vegetables or a light salad can add freshness and balance to the meal, elevating it from a simple snack to a well-rounded dining experience. As I reminisce about my culinary journey, I recall a particularly challenging night in a small kitchen in Baja California. The restaurant was bustling, the air thick with the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses. Just as I was about to send out a batch of nachos for a large table, I realized we had run out of tortilla chips. Panic set in as I glanced around the cramped kitchen, filled with the energy of a Friday night rush. I could feel the weight of expectations pressing down on me. Our reputation depended on delivering memorable experiences. In a moment of desperation and creativity, I decided to pivot. Instead of relying on pre-made chips, I gathered my team and quickly set to work making handmade tortillas. We mixed the masa, rolled out the dough, and cooked the tortillas on the griddle, the smell of toasty corn filling the air. As we worked, I had an idea. Why not turn this into a unique dish? We cut the fresh tortillas into triangles and fried them until they were golden and crisp. With our homemade chips ready, I turned my attention to the salsas. I crafted a vibrant pico de gallo, bursting with fresh tomatoes, onions, cilantro, and a squeeze of lime. Then, I whipped up a smoky chipotle salsa that packed a punch, balancing the freshness of the pico. The combination of the warm, crispy chips and the bold salsas transformed a potential disaster into an unforgettable moment for our guests. When I finally served the nachos, the table erupted in cheers. The diners were delighted by the unexpected twist, and the flavors danced on their palates, creating a memory that would linger long after they left the restaurant. That night taught me a valuable lesson. Innovation often arises from adversity, and the ability to adapt can lead to extraordinary outcomes. As I reflect on my 2 decades in the culinary world, I realize that cooking is more than just a profession. It is a love language. It nourishes connections and evokes joy in the simplest moments. Each dish I create is an invitation to connect, to share stories, and to celebrate life's little pleasures. The memories forged over a plate of nachos, the laughter shared over a meal, and the bonds strengthened through food are what make this journey truly fulfilling. In the end, it's not just about the ingredients or the techniques. It's about the heart behind the cooking. It's about understanding the science of flavors and the art of presentation. But most importantly, it's about the connections we forge through the act of sharing a meal. As I continue to explore the world of culinary delights, I carry with me the wisdom that food is a universal language, a bridge that brings people together, igniting joy and creating lasting memories. The sun streamed through the window, casting a warm glow on the pristine countertop, where a tray of golden chips awaited their destiny. As I stood before this simple yet enticing spread, I felt the familiar rush of excitement that came with the promise of a culinary adventure. Nachos, those delightful, crispy morsels crowned with a symphony of flavors, had a history that was as rich and layered as the dish itself. Today, I would take you on a journey through time and taste, exploring the origins of nachos and the artistry involved in crafting the ultimate plate. The story of nachos begins in 1943, in the small border town of Piedras Negras, Mexico. It was here that a young maitre d' named Ignacio Nacho Anaya found himself in a predicament. One evening, a group of military wives arrived at the restaurant he worked at, hungry and craving something special. With limited ingredients on hand, Nacho turned to the pantry and pulled together a dish that would soon become legendary. He took crispy tortilla chips, melted cheese, and jalapeno peppers, arranging them with care. The result was a delightful creation that would soon bear his name, nachos. As I shared this origin story with you, I couldn't help but marvel at the simplicity of the ingredients that sparked such a culinary phenomenon. Nachos were born from necessity, yet they evolved into a beloved dish cherished across the globe. The tale of Ignacio Anaya is a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary creations arise from the most humble beginnings. With the history of nachos firmly in mind, it was time to dive into the art of crafting the perfect plate. I began by emphasizing the importance of a structured approach to building nachos. It wasn't just about throwing ingredients together, it was about creating a harmonious balance of flavors and textures. The foundation of any great nacho plate starts with the chips, crisp, sturdy, and ready to hold the weight of toppings without becoming soggy. I carefully selected each chip, ensuring they were golden brown and perfectly cooked. Next came the layering strategy. I explained how each layer should be thoughtfully constructed to ensure that every bite delivers a burst of flavor. The first layer consisted of the chips, followed by a generous sprinkling of cheese, sharp cheddar, creamy Monterey Jack, and a hint of pepper jack for a touch of spice. The cheese was crucial. It would melt beautifully in the oven, creating a gooey, irresistible blanket over the chips. As I prepared the nachos for baking, I couldn't help but share the secret to achieving the perfect cheese melt. It wasn't just about throwing them in the oven and hoping for the best. I recommended a low and slow approach, baking the nachos at a moderate temperature until the cheese was bubbling and golden, allowing the flavors to meld together without burning the chips. This method ensured that each chip was coated in a luscious layer of cheese, while still retaining its crunch. After a few moments in the oven, the aroma of melted cheese filled the air, and I was ready to elevate the dish further. The final touch was the garnish, which transformed the nachos from a simple snack into a culinary masterpiece. I reached for fresh cilantro, diced tomatoes, and a drizzle of creamy avocado lime sauce. Each garnish added a burst of freshness and color, enhancing the overall experience and inviting the senses to explore. But nachos are not just a one-size-fits-all dish. As I stood there, surrounded by the vibrant colors and aromas, I felt compelled to share the regional variations of nachos that exist across the Americas. Each region brings its own cultural influences and flavors, creating a tapestry of nacho experiences. In Oaxaca, for instance, nachos are often topped with rich mole sauce, a complex blend of spices and chocolate that adds depth and intrigue. In contrast, Tex-Mex nachos might feature hearty chili con carne, jalapenos, and a mountain of sour cream, embodying the bold flavors of the American Southwest. As I recounted these variations, I could almost taste the differences on my tongue. The smoky richness of mole, the savory warmth of chili, and the zesty brightness of fresh toppings. Each style of nachos tells a story, reflecting the traditions and ingredients of its region. It was a reminder of how food can serve as a bridge between cultures, connecting us through shared flavors and experiences. But beyond the flavors and the ingredients, nachos hold a deeper significance. They are a dish meant to be shared, a celebration of togetherness. I reflected on the countless moments I had spent with friends and family, gathered around a table, laughter filling the air as we reached for cheesy chips piled high with toppings. Nachos have a way of bringing people together, whether during game nights, casual gatherings, or festive celebrations. They invite conversation, foster connections, and create memories that linger long after the last chip has been devoured. In those moments, I realized that simple dishes like nachos hold profound meanings. They are not just about nourishment. They are about intention and love. Cooking for others is an act of care, a way to express our affection and create bonds. As I layered the nachos, I thought about the joy of sharing this creation with loved ones. how the act of cooking becomes a language of its own, speaking volumes about our relationships and the experiences we cherish. As I prepared to serve the nachos, I felt a sense of fulfillment wash over me. The tray was a vibrant mosaic of colors and textures, a testament to the journey we had taken together. I encouraged you, dear reader, to embrace your creativity in the kitchen. Nachos are a canvas, waiting for your personal touch. Experiment with different toppings, play with flavors, and make the recipe your own. Cooking is not just about following instructions. It's about expressing yourself and sharing that expression with those you care about. In closing, I want to reinforce the idea that food can be a bridge to belonging and community. Nachos, in all their glorious variations, embody the spirit of sharing and connection. So, gather your friends and family, and let the act of cooking become a celebration of togetherness. Whether you're enjoying a plate of classic nachos or exploring new flavors, remember that the heart of the dish lies in the love and intention behind it. Let the journey of nachos inspire you to create, to connect, and to savor the moments spent in the kitchen and around the table. In the end, it's not just about the food. It's about the stories we tell, the laughter we share, and the memories we create together. So, let's raise our chips and toast to the joy of cooking, the beauty of community, and the delicious adventure that is nachos. If this video sparked your taste buds, taught you something new, or simply brought a smile to your face, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you believe in food that nourishes both the body and the soul, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to Smart Health Tips, your trusted space for healthy, flavorful living, one smart choice at a time. We're building a community that values real ingredients, rich traditions, and wellness that tastes amazing. Share this video with someone who loves good food and even better vibes. Because when we share knowledge, we don't just grow stronger, we grow together.